you for joining us. My name is Lara Poole. I'm Business Development Manager at North Kent College, and I'm joined by my colleagues Hope West, who's Head of Apprenticeships at Hadlow College, and Bridget Remy, who is Curriculum Lead for Apprenticeships at West Kent College. And you'll see that we have some other panellists who will be joining us and giving their views on how apprenticeships work for them, the benefits for them and for their apprentices. And we've also got a couple of apprentices here from the apprentices point of view as well. So I make it 9:32. If anybody else does join us, I'm sure they'll be able to catch up. Okay, so as you know, it's National Apprenticeship Week, comes around every year. This is the first time we've done a virtual presentation. We normally do a breakfast event for our employers who want to know about apprenticeships, one at Dartford and one at Gravesend. We've done it in the past. So hopefully you've got your own pastries and your own coffee this time. Sorry, we haven't been able to provide that. But without further ado, I shall move on. If you could bring up the next slide, please, Sean.
It's having a funny 5 minutes. It's clearly Friday.
Oh
no.
no.
Give me 2 seconds.
It was working perfectly 10 minutes ago. Here we go, right. So just a brief introduction to who we are. North Kent College are a family of further specialist and higher education. We have campuses at Dartford, Gravesend, now Tunbridge with West Kent and Hadlow College as well. We're all one big family since the end of August. We specialise in vocational subjects and land-based studies, and we offer both full-time courses and apprenticeships at all the different levels. And the wide range of apprenticeship training that we offer covers a huge industry, a huge number of industry sectors, which we will come on to talk about very soon. So the next slide, and I'll hand over to Hope.
Hi, so for those of you that don't really know what apprenticeships are, the majority of the apprenticeships are work-based training programs. They consist at all different levels, predominantly starting with level 2 right the way up to level 7. You can study levels 2, 3 and 4 and 5 within the college, and a level 3 is equivalent to 3 A levels, a level 4 is equivalent to HNC, and a level 5 is equivalent to an HND. Apprentices can progress up through all the different levels, and that is very much dependent on the type of apprenticeship they're doing and the industry sector that they're working in. Generally, apprenticeships duration start from around about 18 months up to 2 years, and that's predominantly for both levels 2 and level 3. The training delivered, a high percentage of our apprenticeships require 1 day a week coming into college. Some of our other apprenticeships, such as engineering and maritime, will attend college on a block release basis. And there's lots of other apprenticeships in the business suite that are predominantly delivered in the workplace. Next slide, please, Sean. So as some of you may be aware, the apprenticeship reform, the government has committed significantly to increase the number of apprentices. They've worked very, very closely with the Institute for Apprenticeships and with employers to revamp and relook at the apprenticeships and the apprenticeship standards. With the Institute of Apprenticeships and Technical Education, they work very, very closely with lots of people from all different sectors to look at the types of apprenticeships on offer. They look at what the knowledge, skills, behaviours are required within those apprenticeships. And they set out the apprenticeship level and the duration of the apprenticeship. They've created a new funding model as well, which includes the apprenticeship levy. So those employers that are levy payers can utilise their levy to join and take up employing an apprentice. They've also included a £1,000 grant to SMEs to take on an apprentice that is aged between 16 and 18. And in recent months, throughout the COVID period, they've introduced a COVID recovery incentive of up to £2,000. So now it's more prominent than ever to take on an apprentice, which will benefit both the apprentice and the employer. I'll hand you over to my colleague now, Bridget Remy.
So what do you need to offer an apprentice to make sure that you can take them on as apprentice? They must have a genuine job role. So it's got to be that they have a contract of employment in place. As far as wages go, you'll need to pay them at least the national minimum wage. That at the moment, well, apprenticeship wage at the moment is £4.15, but it'll go up to £4.30 on the 1st of April 21. Now that will apply to any age apprentice in their first year, but apprentices who are older will need different rates in their second or subsequent years. You need to make sure that you've got the job role that will meet the apprenticeship standards. And for that reason, we send out an assessor to meet with you and to check that you have a job role for your apprentice that enables them to meet the knowledge, skills and behaviours as set out in the standards. You also have to ensure that you have support supervision in place for them. So what's in it for you? Well, the benefit is that you get a trainee that you can mould into your way of working. You've also got, you'll have a formal agreement in place and a commitment to training, which will be signed by you and the apprentice and the provider, whichever one of our colleges that is. And here it says a minimum of 12 months on an apprenticeship. They do vary. So for example, a business administration might be 12 months, but a carpentry and joinery would be at least 2 years. They have to be employed for a minimum of 30 hours per week. So those are the things you need to think about if you want to take on an apprentice. But as I said, that you get a trainee that you can mould into your way of working and end up with a really first class employee. So when we look at an apprentice, we look at what they've already done with their education or training. So any prior learning we take into account. We also look at their skills base, and we do assess them to see what their level is as they're starting their apprenticeship. So we have to ensure that by undertaking their apprenticeship, they will be learning new skills, behaviours, attitudes, and so on. There is a 20% paid off the job learning requirement, and that can take a number of forms depending on their type of job. So any college time counts towards the 20% off the job learning. Any theory they do, any independent study they do, if they're doing training in the workplace, which is new to them, they could work shadow someone, they could be mentored, or they could be doing mentoring, visits and competitions. So like with the trades apprenticeships, you've got the skills competitions, and also they need support and time for assessments and assignments to complete those. So if somebody has got a 40-hour-a-week contract, then they would have 8 hours a week that has to be dedicated to off-the-job learning time with the apprentice. Some of them will require English and maths. That will depend on the grades they've achieved in GCSEs. So, and that will vary according to the apprenticeship. The apprenticeships, as Hope said, are at different levels, and so the English and maths requirements will be different. So for some, they might need a grade 3 or a D, but for others, they might need a grade 4 or a C in maths and English. And that's additional to the off-the-job learning time. So that means that they might have to attend at college, say for 5 weeks, an additional day a week, in order to undertake their maths and English. There are a few bespoke courses where it's not possible to attend, and then we would do some delivery in the workplace. But the majority of apprentices would attend at college for their English and maths.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. So During the reforms that the government introduced a few years ago, they introduced what we call the levy pot, and employers with a payroll of excess of 3 million, which is approximately 200 members of staff or more, then they contribute to the levy pot. It's about 0.5% of their payroll costs. And the government then tops that up by 10% each year as well into what is called the digital apprenticeship account. Now, for any levy payers who are listening in here, if you are a levy payer, then that money is what is used for the training of your apprenticeships. Can't be used for anything else, just training of apprenticeships. If you don't use all of it as well in a year, you can actually use it for some of your suppliers and other people within your supply chain or companies that you work with very closely as well. Next slide, please. Now, the majority of employers in Kent, as we know, are SMEs. It's a very entrepreneurial county. So most employers will have a payroll bill of less than 3 million and they don't pay the levy. So in that case, the government pays for the majority of the training for apprentices. They're paying 95%. And employers are then asked to just make 5% contribution to the cost that's spread over the lifetime of the apprenticeship, except for SMEs with fewer than 50 employees. And the government pay 100% of the cost for any apprentices that they take on who are aged 16 to 18 or up to 24 if they're in care with the local authority. And also the government offers SMEs who take on a 16 to 18-year-old a £1,000 grant as well. So for smaller employees, it is very, very accessible to be able to take on apprentices. Next slide, please. So, and as Hope mentioned, also post-recovery, Rishi's plan for jobs, he introduced an incentive as well around apprentices last year. So all employers, whether they are levy payers or SMEs, can apply for a grant. Now, at the moment, that is before the 31st of March. Obviously, the government may change that. They've extended it once when they extended the furlough back in the autumn. So hopefully, we are expecting when they make their announcements on the 22nd of February, that incentive will also be pushed further into 2021. But the incentive is that if you take on an apprentice age between 16 and 24, you get an additional incentive of £2,000. And that's on top of the £1,000 that you would get for a 16 to 18-year-old, which is an incentive that's been in place for a long time. And then apprentices over 25 years of age, the employers receive £1,500. So it really is a good time to think about taking on an apprentice right now because of the additional incentives that are available. Okay, next slide, please, and I will hand back to Hope.
So some of the key benefits for employers and organisations and having an apprentice, what it can bring to your business. There's many facts to show that it does improve both productivity and efficiency. It can help fill skills gap, including those within specialist areas where specialist training is required. It helps to attain specific skills that are required for your industry. It will make your business more competitive. It will help reduce training costs and recruitment costs, which are one of the biggest spenders for companies trying to recruit and employ staff. It will help assist with succession planning to ensuring that your workforce is that of a multi-skilled workforce. It motivates staff and creates a motivational team. It provides a significant return on investment as well. Next slide, please.
There is a video to play here, so I'm just going to play the video for everyone to view.
I do apologise. This is a video of DFDS of our maritime apprentices.
Having looked at the demographic of our current employees, we realised that in the next 3 to 5 years, 25% of our able-bodied seafarers, as we call them, are going to head towards retirement. And we realised that we needed to do something in terms of growing our own workforce and getting those guys back in at the start end of the career. There wasn't any barriers really, because actually the 2-year time scale that it takes to train these apprentices is in perfect timing with when our first retirees are going to happen, and actually it's a highly skilled job, so we need these 2 years to ensure that we have our guys fully trained and ready to take over the baton, so to speak.
When I started the apprenticeship, I got the opportunity to learn new skills in many different areas, like firefighting, surviving at sea, and medical first aid. It's just exciting. It's an exciting job. Every single thing I learn will make me a better captain when I become it.
We've partnered with North West Kent College, who have been extremely helpful in helping us tailor when we need them on board, we can have them on board, or when we want them to go back to college, then they can work around our time schedule. So yes, it has been flexible in the end. I would highly recommend an apprenticeship scheme to any employer in Kent, or in the UK for that matter, because you've got an opportunity to create your own workforce for the future, to ensure that the baton is being handed over from one employee to the other, and to secure your skills for the future. So yes, I would highly recommend apprenticeships.
Thank you, Sean. So as you can see, we've got a specialist centre at our Gravesend campus called the National Maritime Training Centre, and they not only deliver training for employees that are on boats and working for ferry companies, etc. already, but they also offer apprenticeships. The apprenticeship suite that they offer at the National Maritime Training Centre is able seafarer, deck and engineer. Then there is the electrical or mechanical engineer, and also a new standard that we introduced a couple of years ago called maritime caterer. So that's linking up with the catering and the kitchens and the restaurant that we have at the Gravesend campus, as well as being able to train as a maritime operative as well. The other apprenticeships that we offer are in construction from Gravesend and also from West Kent in Tunbridge. So we've got carpentry and joinery, painting and decorating, and bricklaying. And then in terms of engineering, we do offer quite a wide suite there. Because we've got such excellent facilities on the campuses, we are able to do quite a few different engineering programs. So everything from motor vehicle through to food and drink processor, for example. The lean manufacturing, food and drink processor, and also the improvement technician are ideal for any engineering companies, manufacturing companies, and there are lots of food and drink processors in Kent, for example. The engineering operative offers a wider set of skills and can be used for installation and manufacturing, as well as welding, pipe fitting, etc. And then another one that sort of fits with engineering, but is also a construction-based apprenticeship, is the digital engineering technician, and that is heavily based around computer-aided design and BIM, and is used really for people who are looking to get into the architectural side of engineering. And we developed it with Berkeley Modular, for example, so that the technicians could build the, or design rather, the housing that is then built on the factory floor and then sent out to the site to be erected on site. So next slide, please, and I'll hand back to Bridget.
Thank you. So at Tunbridge, West Kent, we offer accountancy at present at level 2 and 3. We have business administration at level 3, customer service 2 and 3. These can be done on a one-to-one basis. For accountancy, they attend an evening class. For level 2, 1 evening a week, and for level 3, 2 evenings a week. Business administration and customer service are delivered entirely in the workplace, although they may attend for maths and English at college, just for those if they require them. Catering and hospitality, we offer commis chef, and again, they do come in because we have training kitchens and a restaurant. at Tunbridge. So they do come in to us 1 day a week, where they normally, without COVID, will get the opportunity to actually work in the kitchens and the restaurant. Hairdressing, again, we have a very first-class salon at Tunbridge, and hairdressing, as we know, they're all furloughed at the moment. But again, they will come into us 1 day a week to build both theory and practical skills. Dental nurse, that's one of our highest numbers in apprenticeships. We have a course starting, our second cohort this year in April. And again, they are now all in the workplace because the assessments have been adapted by City and Guilds to enable them to continue with their courses. Education, teaching assistant, that tends to be some block delivery and then some 1 day a week. So that varies across through the year. The block delivery is usually in the first term. With leadership, management and professional, the team leader supervisor is a course that so far we've delivered on a bespoke basis, depending on the type of industry. So for example, we deliver it to food manufacturers and to insurance companies. We've also got an engineering firm that are putting their staff through at level 3, and the operations departmental manager level 5. Again, that one is available, and we're putting somebody through from an engineering company on that. So those can be tailored, although they all have the standard and they have mandatory qualifications attached. We can actually adapt them and tailor them to meet the particular industry's needs and the role's needs. Human resources, we have level 3, the support HR available, and with that there's attendance 1 evening a week taken to taking the foundation certificate in human resources through CIPD, and the level 5, again, that's 1 day a week, 1 evening a week, sorry, for the level 5, the human resources business partner. So those are all, with all of those really, they are quite flexible, particularly on the business side and the leadership, management and professional, as to how we deliver them. We tend to work out a delivery model with the particular company that we're working with. Thank you.
So here at Hadlow College is the one and only specialist land-based colleges in Kent. We offer a wide range of apprenticeships, anything from a golf greenkeeper to a level 3 greenkeeper, golf course manager, sports turf operative, a landscape operative, horticulture supervisor, crop technician, a land-based engineer, stock person, animal care welfare assistant, and florist. Predominantly, majority of our apprenticeships, because of the industry that they are delivered solely within the workplace. If you take a look at all of our greenkeeping apprenticeships, unfortunately, the college do not have a golf course on campus. So, you know, we very much work very closely with our greenkeeping employers to ensure that the training they receive is very much hands-on and in spec with the golf course requirements. Next slide, please. So why choose North Kent and North Kent's umbrella of colleges? You know, they're very successful in the delivery of apprenticeships. You know, our achievement rates are currently above the national rate. The college was graded outstanding back in November 2017, and the college is ranked second nationally. There's been high investment in the facilities across all of the college's campuses, and currently now in Kent we have one of the widest ranges of portfolios for the delivery of apprenticeships in Kent. Within our FE, 92% of our vocational diploma success rates was 92%, which is absolutely fantastic. you know, if it's not an apprentice that you're looking for, then maybe it's an opportunity for you to maybe think about offering some work placements for our FE students. We've got another video here, which is Access. And Access is for our painting and decorating apprentices.
Access construction company. They've been going since 1986. The company was predominantly set up as a repair and maintenance company. Basically, all our three directors, so like John, Tim and Joe, all come from a trade apprentice background, and it's also a key value of ours. So we have 8 values we run our business by, and one of the values is train and develop people. And you know, so I've done time served apprenticeship as a painter decorator. We feel obviously passionate that obviously someone took the time to teach us, and we want to do the same. And you know, currently I think that we've had apprenticeship schemes running for at least over 15 years. So you know, and for this year, just for my division, so I had up all paint and decorating, housing association works and local authorities. We're looking to take on another 4 apprentices. Joe, my MD, he actually knows Karen, one of the tutors there. She was actually his apprentice at one time. So obviously there was a relationship there from yesteryears, and then obviously they got in contact, and we've been using, I think, over 4 or 5 years now, so supplying our apprenticeships for the painting and decorating apprenticeships. And it's mainly the service that we get provided from North Kent, and especially Karen. You know, the other week she actually come to the office, you know, discuss about obviously apprenticeships of the existing crop of apprentices we have. So like I said, we're looking to take on another 4 for next year. So we're going to start setting up interviews with Karen to look at for the next crop of apprentices. No, the process is fairly straightforward. So our process is obviously with the college, we had the interview. Like last year, I went down to the North Kent College, spoke to the apprenticeship delegates, and they come here and actually met my MD, and we offered them a contract, which is for 2 years with an option of a 3rd year. And then after that, then it'll be whether they want to, obviously they can either go out and be a small medium enterprise, and we help them and support them and encourage them to be that, or they can go down the management route. We're a great company to work for, and again we believe in training, developing and obviously encouraging for anyone to actually have and get on and have a good career path. Like I said, I'm a prime example of that. There's many of really good case studies across the actual overall business. You know, the apprenticeship schemes obviously we're very passionate about, and I even am as well. So, you know, it's not just painting, decorating we do electricians, we do plumbing, you know, carpentry. So we cover the vast range of obviously different apprenticeship schemes. So, you know, we believe and we invest in people, and obviously it'll be the future of Access.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, so in terms of timings then, most of the apprenticeship programs that we run, particularly ones that require a lot of workshop time, so engineering, motor vehicle, carpentry, etc., they largely start in September of each year. Although the land-based apprenticeships, they have 3 intakes throughout the year. And then some of the programs, as Bridget was explaining about the management ones particularly, we operate on what we call a roll-on, roll-off basis. So they can start at any point, because you're not looking for a cohort of people all to start at the same time. So we've got various options really in terms of when the apprenticeship programs start. But if you think about what your business would require and whether it is very workshop based, then those are the ones where you will probably be looking at a September start. So as an employer, you've got some options there as well. If you wanted to take somebody right now, or when we come out of lockdown, but the actual apprenticeship training programme doesn't start until September, then you could consider an industry placement, which is designed to give our full-time students some workplace experience, and you could sort of use that as an opportunity to see if they have the right skills and aptitude for your company. And then you might want to take on 2 or 3 and then maybe offer the best one an apprenticeship or a full-time role at the end of their course, or for a September apprenticeship start. Okay, next slide please, Sean, and I'll hand back to Bridget.
So how to recruit an apprentice? Firstly, for employers, come speak to us if it's just a little bit of advice and guidance in regards to taking on an apprentice. It is a big commitment from our employers, and we work really, really closely with all of our employers to make sure that that is the right option for them. We will help support you to recruit to your needs. We will discuss with you the job role, the extent of the job role, and we look to ensure that it is aligned to the apprenticeship programme, to ensure that you can cover both the skills, the knowledge, and the types of behaviours that are expected within that industry. We'll help you choose the best options for you as a business. We give you all the information about incentives, finances, and funding. We will assist you in starting the recruitment process. We will help advertise your vacancies, one on the platform of the National Apprenticeship website, Find Me an Apprentice. We will also advertise your vacancies across all of our campuses' websites and our social media pages. We will assist in helping you find the best candidate, and to make sure that they do match your organisation. Some of our assessors, have attended lots of interviews with the employer just to reinforce that selection and recruitment process, that apprentice is right for your organisation. We will help you choose the ideal employee. And once all of that's done and you've got an apprentice in mind and a contract of employment has been issued, then that apprenticeship will now commence. I'd just like to introduce our last video, which is Orchard, of our motor vehicle apprentices.
Orchard Garage, we started trading in 2002. That's my husband Jeff and I. We started off in a small workshop in Dartford by the Orchard Theatre, hence the name. In 2005 we bought our Park Road site, and we gave up the Suffolk Road site in 2006, and then we've slowly built the business. 12 years ago our eldest son Adam came to work for us. 5 years ago our daughter Jane came to work for us, and then this summer our youngest son Max came to work for us. So it is a real family business, and last year we managed to buy the Heath Lane site as well. So we're currently running 2 branches of Orchard Garage. So there's the 5 of us family and another 8 in full-time employees and a car cleaner that work for the garage. So we've been trading 18 years this year. Okay, at the moment we've got 4 apprentices. We've got 2 level 3, they're very close to the end of their apprenticeship, so we've got 2 level 2 apprentices. At the moment we've got all of them up here on one site, and actually it's been working really well. I think for them, they've got people to bounce off of, because we've got 2 in level 3 and 2 in level 2. It seems to work better than having just one, because they don't feel quite so embarrassed asking someone who's at the same level as them as they do sort of perhaps asking one of the others. So it just works well, and it is having all of them. It's sort of bigged up, if you like, the level 3s because they obviously know more than the level 2s, and it's helping their confidence as well. I think over the years it's meant that we can get people to work the way we want them to work. We've had apprentices for the whole time we've been trading, so we always, because we only had a small workshop, we only had one apprentice because we couldn't monitor them and train them, you know, any more than that, which is why we only had one at a time, and then we sort of accidentally managed to get 2, and it's sort of grown like that because we found it works having more than one.
We've been involved with North Kent College for about 18 years, and they're always very helpful. We don't get all of our apprentices from them, some of them come to us directly, but because they're the local college, that's where all our apprentices go. Very good standard actually. I mean, the college obviously guide them when they go there one day a week, and they turn out to be good apprentices, and they work really hard. It's you know, the college obviously come and help us with whatever the paperwork they need, and the college will guide us as to what they expect us to do, and the communication between the college and us is very good. If they've got a problem, they'll approach us, and the same vice versa. Yeah, we've had incidents in the past where we've been looking for certain staff, and not being able to recruit externally, but we've approached the college and asked if they've got certain people that they think would be suitable for what we're looking for, and they've normally come up with the goods.
I definitely would advise other businesses to take on apprentices. Apart from anything else, we find that they bring a great sort of like energy to the whole team, and it's great having someone who's looking at stuff with fresh eyes. They can give a fresh perspective. You know, they don't even realise they're doing it some of the time, but you know, they suggest something and you think, oh, actually, yeah, that's good. So yeah, and also I think as a business owner, you've got a duty to encourage the next generation to come through. You know, we both feel very strongly about that, you know, we want to encourage younger people to come through. We want to give them confidence and the tools to have a sort of successful career for themselves. And if we can change one person's life, this is a bit dramatic now, but you know, but if we can change one person's life by giving them confidence and skills to move forward, then great. That's what a business owner should do.
Thanks, Sian. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our presentation. We hope that it has been informative and it gives you some idea of what we can offer as a college. You know, as a family, a lot of the apprenticeships that we offer are available from all of our campuses. So, you know, for example, the catering and the hairdressing, accountancy and business administration available both from West Kent and from the Gravesend and Dartford campuses. So, you know, no matter where you are in the north of Kent or the middle of Kent, then we can probably accommodate your apprenticeship needs, and then for the land-based, anywhere in Kent, really. So going to move on now. If you can put any questions that you have in the Q&A, we'll come back to that at the end. And we're going to move on now with a piece from Abby Osho from Salon ABV, who has apprentices in hairdressing with us. So I'll hand over to you if that's okay, Abby.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Basically, just to share my experience of having an apprentice in our salon, it's been a very lovely experience. The young lady that we got from the Northwest College has been really extremely hardworking, and she is so keen and interested. You can tell that she really wants to come into the hairdressing industry, and it's such a joy to have her in our midst. For us as a business, it's just been so helpful to actually have an extra or an additional member of staff, and being a young person, she's able to come up with, like the other lady said, different ideas that we've actually had to implement in the salon, and that's been very useful. And also, it's been so nice working with Ailey. she's always available to answer any question that I have, especially when it comes to making sure that we provide the right environment for our apprentice, and that she's actually learning and growing in a career. So that has been a very good thing for us, and is a thing that I will look to do again in future, because I feel it's important as a business to actually look for ways to give back to our community. There's a lot of slagging of young people, but if they don't have places or things to channel their energy, then that wouldn't be too helpful for all of us. But being able to help them to channel their energy and their interest, it can only be good for everyone. That's my experience.
Thank you, Abby. And I'm sure Hayley will be really pleased to hear you singing her praises as well. Hayley is our assessor for hairdressing. Okay, thank you, Abby. If anybody's got any questions for Abby, please do put them in the Q&A, and we'll come back to those at the end.
Neil Dixon is the head of grounds at King's Senior School in Canterbury.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to give you a brief sort of update on where we are with apprenticeships in Hadlow. So, King's levy payer in the government scheme. So for me, the question wasn't why we would take an apprentice, rather than why wouldn't we? Benefits for us as a grounds and gardens department, take on apprentices are wide, varied. The scheme encourages organisations to take raw, young, inexperienced, but keen individuals and mould them into what we want to become. That meets our objectives as a department. And by doing this, we're taking young people and giving them the opportunity to progress. It gives them the skills, confidence, communication and life skills outside the workplace. They can use these in their everyday lives going forward. I think most people associate apprenticeship with a young person. That doesn't have to be the case, far from it. Apprenticeships can be any age, as has already been said. This allows us to tap into the industry recognised qualifications that are offered by Hadlow and other colleges, and upskill existing members of staff that we identify to fill more senior positions as they become available to us. This for me offers real-time training and a career path progression roadmap, which is important, not just for young staff, but also for staff who might be stuck in a bit of a training rut or at crossroads in their career. One thing that I've noticed, and my senior gardens and ground staff have noticed, that by having apprentices on the team, it develops the existing members of staff that may not have no interest previously in mentoring or training staff, all of a sudden enjoy that part of it. They enjoy that interaction with the apprentice. They do it willingly and enjoy it, which is great. Again, that only benefits us as an organisation. I currently have 4 apprentices on the team, studying at Hadlow. 2 are doing level 2 horticulture. 1's doing level 2 sports turf, and 1 is doing level 3 sports turf. All add a massive dimension and dynamic to the team. They vary in ages from 19 to 45, and their personalities and traits as such they've become more than just apprentices. They're valued members of staff of the team who add productivity, they're hardworking, enjoy their study, and they're all doing this while furthering their career opportunities. And whether that's with us at King's or elsewhere, that's irrelevant. And knowing that we could be producing the next generation of head gardeners and head groundsmen, for me, is a great feeling, and one that I personally find very rewarding. The impact my apprentices are making is great. The department is making great strides in developing the gardens and grounds here at King's, and the input we get from them is invaluable. The feedback I'm receiving from the academic and senior management staff, again, is all positive, and the apprentices are polite, smart, and just good, positive members of staff for us. The process of registering an apprentice was dead simple. It's quick and easy. All of the legwork was done by Hadlow, with the only commitment needed from us as the employer was to spare some time for the course tutors to come out into the workplace and explain the course in further detail to the apprentice, answer any questions that I or they may have had, and once they had the necessary signatures on the paperwork, it was then good to go. One last thing I think is important to state is that a modern apprenticeship is based on commitment and trust between the apprentice, the employer, and the college. it has to be remembered it's a learning experience. The apprentice has to commit time and effort into this and do the homework and study hard. And likewise, the employer has to be proactive in providing opportunities for the apprentices to develop their skills and knowledge, whether it's in time we invest into them with developing their knowledge, or allowing them the reassurances to make mistakes on the practical element of the job so they can learn from them, not make them again. The college can then guide the apprentice through the course to gain the best qualification. All in all, I'd highly recommend employing an apprentice, as they will only add value to your organisation. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much, Neil, and thank you for giving us an insight into the benefits of taking on an apprentice. And we've seen a lot of their work over the last few months. So, you know, it's absolutely fantastic that they're progressing well.
No, good. Thank you.
Okay, if I add my little bit on the end. Thank you.
Hi, this is Emma Chivers. Emma Chivers is the HR manager for King's School.
Lovely, thank you. Thanks, Hope. Yeah, so as Neil said, we're a levy paying employer. We've got almost 900 members of staff. So we've really had to look at how we can use the levy to drive our learning and development strategy, because if we don't use the funds, then we lose them. And it's a great way, as we've discussed, to invest in our staff. So we've been working closely with managers such as Neil, just to identify the skills gaps, and also working with trusted providers like North Kent College to find the right apprenticeship courses for staff. And this has worked really well for us, especially in departments like gardens and grounds, and also catering. We've had some real successes where we've progressed trainee chefs through to fully qualified chefs, and even hospitality managers as well. And on the business admin side, we've progressed managers through studying team leader and supervisory apprenticeships. And we're also now looking at apprenticeships in nursing for some of our medical centre staff, and teaching as well, which I'm sure I'll discuss with you at some point. Hope maybe the teaching assistant one. And a big part of my work has been trying to change the perceptions of apprenticeships for King staff, because there was very much still the feeling that it was for school leavers, and that you had to drop down, even if you're an existing employee, you had to drop down to the apprenticeship wage, and you could only maybe do them in trades. So we've worked really hard in showcasing the apprentices we've got at King's and highlighting their apprenticeship journeys and how they've found it, the benefits, the challenges, and how it's helped them progress, and using them as ambassadors really. And the next step, I'd quite like to start a kind of mentorship programme, maybe using some of our former apprentices to help the new ones along. And this week, to celebrate Apprenticeship Week, we've done a newsletter which has gone down really well with all our staff, just to highlight what existing apprentices have done. And I've had some really great feedback from that as well. And I have sent that to you, Hope. So if anyone here wants to have a look at what we've done to publicise our apprentices, I'm very happy to share that with anybody.
I'll share that around for you, Emma.
Thank you. Thanks, Hope.
Thanks, Emma. Thank you very much for your time as well, to give us your insight as to the benefits that it has given you to King's School. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil and Emma. I'd like to introduce Hannah now as our penultimate speaker, and then Craig from Shooters Hill Golf Club will follow. Hannah is from Salon 167 in Crayford.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I'm Hannah. I have 2 salons. I'm based in Dartford and Crayford. I've got 22 staff altogether, and I've currently got 3 apprentices working for me. Generally, I do have 3 to 4 apprentices at one time, especially in my Crayford branch, where I've got about 15 staff, 10 being hairdressers, receptionists and myself. So basically, I have had my salon for 17 years, my main one, my other one for 2 years, and I have always taken part in apprenticeship scheme. I was an apprentice when I first started hairdressing, and it was the best way for me to learn hairdressing. College is great, full-time college is great, but it's not for everybody, and it definitely wasn't for me. And like one of the guys said earlier, it's about earning as you learn, and everybody wants to earn some money while they're learning. So basically, our apprentices, they go to college 1 day a week. They work with us for 4 other days in the salon. They do 3 hours of training with our trainer in our salon. Our trainer was actually an apprentice of mine, and she's been with me for 10 years. So I trained her up, and then now she is actually training my apprentices up, which I'm sort of really proud about. One of my longest standing apprentices was for 14 years, and she's only just left. She's had 3 pregnancies and back in after each pregnancy, and she's only just left, and due to the circumstances of COVID, she's decided to bring up her babies instead. But the apprentices working in the salon, it's great for them. They learn about hairdressing from hands-on. We can mould them to how we want them to be. We can bring them up to the Salon 167 hairdressing way that we want them to be. We can teach them about tricks and techniques. We have training from our TG educators. They come in three to 4 times a year, our trainers, and they will teach them different techniques with colour. So we're always keeping on top of trend, as well as them going to college and learning the basics. So we really sort of pride ourselves on our training schedule in our salon. Yeah, that's about it really. Like, the girls are great that we've had boys, we've had girls. We love having a boy in the salon because it breaks up the girl mix. At the moment we've only got girls, but we love having a bit of a mixture in the salon. So I would definitely recommend having an apprenticeship in the salon. They bring new life. They're bubbly, they're enthusiastic to learn, and that's what's great, because our girls are doing their job and they love their job, and they have so much passion about hairdressing that they can then relate that back to new people starting in the career of hairdressing. So it's great. I definitely would recommend it.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. And your enthusiasm and passion for hairdressing is quite clear as well from the way that you speak about your lovely apprentices and staff. So thank you very much for your time this morning. If anyone's got any questions, please pop them in the Q&A for Hannah.
We'd next like to introduce Craig Rodwell. Craig is the head of Shooters Hill Golf Club in the grounds. Hi, Craig.
Hello there, right. Hello, I've been here 18 years. I'm a firm believer of apprenticeships. I started in my previous workplace as an apprentice back in 1994, and within 7 years I was the course manager there. And I wanted to carry on to a different course, as in Shooters Hill. And when I got the job here, I wanted to carry on with the apprenticeships. And it was a big part of our golf club with our long-term plan and strategy of improving the course for the members and the public. And the apprenticeships really fitted in with our business model. And since then, I've had 9 apprentices, and we've currently got 2 at the moment. And they've just recently passed with a merit and distinction. And they're out in the woodland areas at the moment today in this cold wind, working away, and they're putting photos up on the phone at the moment of all the tree work that they're doing, so they're really enjoying it. They've just had a pay rise because they've just got their certificates just before Christmas, and they've got a really good pay rise, and they're going to get another one in April as well. So they're really enjoying it at the moment. We've had due to COVID, we're in the process of employing another one this year, which is probably the next few weeks or months, regarding what we can do. They are really good because you can take on local people, you can mould them into how we want them to work. They can focus on our long-term plan, our course policy document we have on setting up the course and how we do things. It's just a great environment for people to work in, and the outdoor life. They can earn and learn at the same time, which is a good policy, especially for young people. And they normally have got a head start on other people that come in the industry where they've been doing their degrees or began at university. And I think it gives them a good basis in communication and dealing with people in the workplace straight away. And without apprentices, I don't think we could really do all the work that we can with the budgets that we've got. And most of them are all trying to stay on long term, and the ones that have left are either in the industry or completely changed, because obviously certain jobs aren't for everyone, but they've always left sort of wanting to carry on, but they just need to move on and do other things. That's what some people are like anyway. It's great to grow local talent. I think it gets our business out there and the brand. We've now got a full membership, and not just because of COVID, we had it before COVID. So it's getting our name and the branding of the golf club out there. And I think from a business point of view and environment in our local area of Royal Breckenridge Borough, I think it's a really great place for people to work and come and enjoy their social side as well. And I think it just works for the community. And apart from that, I think it's been a really good process, and we will carry on. I'm trying to encourage the clubhouse to start employing apprentices, because I think it's a great place for people to learn, and I think the members get a benefit from it as well, in a fully trained staff that are motivated and want to work for the club and for the members alike. And I think that's about it, really. Hopefully I've covered everything.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Craig, and thank you for your time, giving us a little bit of an insight about Shooters Hill Golf Club and the benefits that it has brought to you having your apprentices. And long look forward to seeing more apprentices come through over the
most
coming
definitely.
months. Yeah. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Okay, so that rounds up our presentations. I would just like to say a sincere big thank you to all of our panelists for taking the time this morning. I hope you've enjoyed listening to what they've had to say about apprentices, what the benefits are to them as employers of having apprentices in their workplaces. And I hope more than anything, you've got an idea of the huge range of apprenticeship training programs that we can offer, all the way from land-based through to seafaring and everything in between as well. So I would like to extend our sincere thanks to the panelists for coming today, and thank you to the attendees. And Sean, would you mind fielding the questions? I know there's a few in the Q&A, please.
Yes, of course, no worries. So the first one is just a bit about hair. I know it was mentioned in the presentation slides at the beginning around where hair is based, but if we could clarify where hairdressing apprenticeships are based across the campuses, that would be great. Thank you.
Yes, I'll take that one, no problem. So there are salons at 3 of our campuses, at Tunbridge, at West Kent. There's salons at Gravesend campus and Dartford campus also, and all of them offer apprenticeships. The 2 salons at Dartford and Gravesend are part of the Lee Stafford Academy as well. Lee Stafford is a celebrity hairdresser, and we've been working with him for about 5 years now. So the apprentices, as well as the full-time students, do have access to Lee Stafford and his team when they come and do masterclasses in colouring, the latest hairdressing techniques, etc. And I should imagine that before long, the salon at Tunbridge may well be branded as Lee Stafford as well. I'm not sure about that, but maybe I'm talking out of turn, but certainly I should imagine there is discussions about that as well. But all of the salons are open to the public, so the students and the apprentices get to hone their skills really on real live models across all 3 of the campuses.
Perfect, thank you. There's quite a large one here from David. He's asked about if NKC or the NMTC department would be interested in supporting a new apprenticeship scheme It's quite large, so I won't read all through it, but he's basically said that we need new employees ourselves, but there is a demand for good people. So is there anything that we could do to support David with that?
Certainly, that is a question for the manager of the NMTC, Steve Watkins. So I will pass that on to Steve. He has developed a new apprenticeship standard in recent years for the maritime caterer. So I can't imagine, if there is a demand for another apprenticeship standard, I can't imagine that he won't open a discussion and look into it and see whether we would be able to deliver it. We've got all the facilities. So yes, if there is a demand and there is a cohort, then I don't see why not. So yes, David, I'll take that back to Steve Watkins for you.
Perfect, thanks Lara. Russell has asked, what is the price range cost of an apprenticeship course?
Well, all apprenticeships price ranges are different. So depending on the industry and the duration and the skills that are required, an apprentice apprentice funding can start from anything from £3,000 up to £28,000 in funding.
Cool, thanks Hope. Steve also asked,
to clarify that most employers don't actually pay that. So if you're a small to medium enterprise, the government covers either 95% or 100% of that, and then your levy payers, that money that's coming out of your levy pot, will pay for that training.
Perfect, thanks Lara. Steve did ask a question. I can see, Harley, you have typed an answer, so thanks for being so efficient there. But I'm gonna ask Robert basically what his answer would be as well. So the question is, what advice would you give a full-time student who is considering a career or apprenticeship in engineering?
Yeah, thanks Steve. I think for me, any advice I give that person would probably be, see if you can get some work experience first in the area you might want to go into. I think that's a great opportunity. I did a bit of work experience back in college as well, and I was able to see more what it's like to be within an engineering environment and whether or not I liked it as well. And that's probably good advice for any type of apprenticeship as well. And then once you've done that work experience, then you can kind of decide maybe what areas you might want to go into as well, and look properly at that. But yeah, definitely see if you can experience it before you apply.
Perfect, thank you. Harley, did you just want to kind of recap in what you've said in your typed answer at all?
Yeah, well, other than that, really. So like I say, I would say for an individual going into engineering, you have to be sort of like a hands-on person. I was lucky really, because where I studied engineering at school, it was sort of morphed into me, and my family are very engineering as well, so I've always had that sort of passion. But yeah, other than that, I think, like I say, you have to be you have to have a willingness to learn, and I'd say just be creative really, and I think that's what engineering is all about, to be honest. So yeah,
Can I just add something there, Harley? I think in our experience of engineering apprenticeships, we always found that a key thing was, as they were growing up, they always were taking things apart, whether they were supposed to or not. They would be taking household appliances apart, bikes, all sorts of things, and back together again. So I don't know if that was you when you were growing up.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been someone who's been very practical and hands-on. Even like at a younger age, when you have like Lego and stuff, that's always something that I've been interested in. So it's sort of come on like that, really. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you everybody for answering the questions. That's all the questions that are in the Q&A box at the moment. So I'll pass back to yourself now, Lara. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean, for fielding those. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for our panelists. It was great to see two young, enthusiastic people talk about their experiences in such depth and with such enthusiasm and enjoyment for their apprenticeship as well. And thank you to all of our employers. Thank you to the attendees as well. If you do have any further questions or you want to contact us, our email address is very simple. It's business northkent.ac.uk, but we will follow up with you and we'll share the slides obviously as well. And I just want to say thank you so much to everybody, to my co-hosts, to Hope and Bridget, and to Sean for her technical know-how and background, and thank you very much everybody.